Okey doke. And let's get started. Tonight, this is a Share Your Passion program with Dr. Melissa Hubsher. The name of it is Moving Forward from the Winter of Our Discontent, Building Resilience and Finding Hope. And a couple of words about Dr. Hubsher. Melissa Hubsher is a clinical psychologist who is licensed in New York and in Pennsylvania. She's a graduate with a BA in psychology from Barnard College of Columbia University, was awarded her psychological doctorate in clinical psychology from Fairclough Graduate School of Psychology, Yeshiva University in New York. She completed an internship and a fellowship at Massachusetts General Hospital, Harvard University. We're very pleased to have her tonight. Thank you so much for doing this for us. Melissa, please go right ahead.
Thank you. I just want to start by saying I'm extremely ADD, and I hear people on their mic.
So everybody, if you would mute yourself except for Melissa.
Sounds good. Thank you. Okay, so moving forward from the winter of our discontent, building resilience and finding hope. And I really wanted to let people know that I am only talking about the pandemic tonight. A lot going on, but I'm only talking about the pandemic. And I realized I first want to thank Rabbi and Helene for inviting me to speak tonight. Nice surprise, and I really appreciate it. So when I first looked at the title, I realized that's a pretty tall order. So I have a lot to impart to you. And if there's anything that you can take away from it, great. If not, I hope you have one. Okay. So Tikkun Olam. I start with Tikkun Olam because that means healing, repairing the world. And if we think about repairing the world, we really need to start with healing ourselves. And so that's going to be the focus. It's not a surprise to let you know that there are psychological effects of the pandemic since March, that the numbers of subjective reports of sadness and anxiety have skyrocketed. The reports of people subjectively reporting any symptoms of depression, anxiety have skyrocketed. And the 50% of all kids between the ages of 11 and 17 have thought about suicide at least once since March. So to think about that, this has really affected way too many people. And as we move in the next couple of months, as Helene said, it's the darkest of months, the shortest of months, the shortest of days, and the loneliest. So we talk about resilience and hope. But before we talk about that, resilience really start even more basic. So I'm going to start with talking about the basics. And many people don't even realize that maybe what they're doing every day, or maybe not, is so important. So I start with this. If there are any parents or grandparents or educators, that before we can take care of our kids or grandkids, you really need to take care of yourself. And as you recognize this from the airplanes, they always say, put it on yourself first before your kids. And that's really the message here. So basic wellness, again, people take this for granted, but every single one is so important. First of all, starting with realistic expectations, what you should or should have been doing. And start with a little joke. What exactly is a New Year's resolution? It's a to-do list for the first week of January. So again, starting with realistic expectations, you don't have to say, I'm going to lose 50 pounds this year. I'm going to, run a marathon at the end of this. Just have some self-compassion, be kind to yourself. Very important, maintain a consistent bedtime, maintain a consistent daytime schedule, wake up, change your clothes, get out of your pajamas. Take a shower, put makeup on if that's something that you used to do. If working from home, take breaks, make time for lunch, limit caffeine and alcohol. Alcohol also has been really on the rise this year in a terrible way. Just move, every day just move, whether it's walking outside or walking around the house, getting out of the same chair that you've been sitting in. Every day. Sunlight is so important every day, even on the colder days, there has been sunlight. Even sitting by the window is fine. Spend less time on screens, especially before bed. Watch what you eat, reach out to others. And if you're feeling really badly, let people know, ask for help. Home and social life. Let go of perfection. You think, oh, I should have been doing this for the past 10 months. It's okay. Just let go of those goals and perfection. Maintain your social connections. 10 months is a long time. When we come out of it, you still want to make sure that your connections are still there. Add some greenery to your household and try to stay organized on top of things. Again, 10 months is a lot of time to have laundry. Food, just keep it simple. It's okay to give yourself a break and order takeout. Make food for others who may be in need. Use the time at home to try just new things, different cuisines. Try to master a new skill, baking desserts. Chalot. I actually started making chalot in March, and I've been making it every single Shabbat since. Never really knew I could do it, but a time to try new things, or not. It's also okay to lower the bar. You hear that everyone's doing all these things. You know what? It's fine if you're not. That's okay too. And just want to let people know that there are still many options for online grocery shopping. To this day, I do Instacart every week. I order out from House of Kosher, who will happily deliver to this area. So still know that there are many options for online grocery shopping. Entertainment, guilt-free. When can you binge watch a show guilt-free, or catch a new movie, or curl up with a book, or just even listen to music around the house? But always limit your exposure to the news. It really does something to your mood. So resilience, I've put everybody on mute, sorry, but to think about how you define resilience. When I first thought of it, I thought of bouncing back, going with the flow. But according to the American Psychological Association, it means it's the process of adapting, not just coping, but adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress. So we've gotten past the basics, and now I want you to start thinking about resilience. What happens when you want to go past the basics? The 3 C's: control, connectedness, and coherence. I'm going to go through those kind of quickly. Control is really identifying the things that you can control and what you can't, and write them down. So certain things that you can control, sorry to say, is when the virus is going to end, when our store is going to open, when can we go back eating inside restaurants? Am I going to catch it? Is somebody I know going to catch it? A lot of unknowns, and worrying about them all day won't change the answers. Basically, it'll just make you feel worse and worse. So think about what you can control. Things like, I'm going to watch over my family. I'm going to make sure that we wash our hands. I'm going to make sure that we wear our masks, that we're going to stay inside. We're not going to see family for the holidays. I can't tell you how many families I personally know who, for Christmas, got together with their families, and 3 whole families have COVID, all 3. So, accept the fact that right now there are things that you cannot control, and just kind of accept that and choose to focus on what you can have control over, or even change, instead of choosing to focus on what you can't. Again, it helps your mood. It changes your mood immediately. So just kind of let it go, the things that you can't focus on, that you can't change. You can say things to yourself like, it is what it is. This is the current situation. I'll do the best that I can with it. And always breathe deeply, relax, and meditate. Connectedness, I talked about this before. Prioritize meaningful relationships. Feel connected to others. Reach out to those who may be more isolated. Continue to celebrate birthdays, achievements, anniversaries. Plan new social events, Zoom happy hours. I know this Friday night we're having a Zoom Share Shabbat, which I think is a wonderful idea. And invite others to attend lectures, cooking demonstrations with you. There's still a lot that you can do. to continue your connectedness with people. And again, if there are people that you know are either living alone or live away from their families, reach out to them. People will really appreciate that. Okay, coherence. Making meaning out of your experience, not just taking every day for what it is. Reflect on each day in order to get a greater perspective and document the lessons that you've learned. Who you've become friendlier with, what you've learned about yourself during this whole time. Did you react better to some of the adversities? Did you find that you needed more help? Did you learn things about your family? Documented lessons that you've learned, how you've grown. Find purpose by helping others. Do something new. Take an online course, try yoga, meditate, learn a new skill. Engage in prayer. It's really helpful to feel that you are connected to the greater world, not just yourself in your home. Engage in prayer, deepen your faith, feel more connected, explore your spirituality. And think about what silver linings you've experienced this year. Even those who have experienced grief this year, I know that either we know somebody personally or know of somebody who has lost one significant other this year, that there's still, you can feel grief and gratitude or appreciation at the same time. Sometimes you may feel more gratitude and appreciation. Other days you may feel more grief, but you can make room for both at the same time. Attitude of gratitude. You can all hear me okay, right? I realize now that it's really hard that I'm not getting feedback, but it's fine. So optimism, hope, and an attitude of gratitude. So it's all about a mindset, a frame of mind. So you think about the stressors not as threats, but it's as challenges. Think about what your strengths are. Are your thoughts all day helpful or hurtful? Do you have the ability to problem solve? Can you identify a cause and identify solutions? Can you look at a problem from multiple perspectives? Somebody gave me a great example the other day. Somebody was called into the principal's office. And what happens when you're called into the principal's office or your employer boss's office? You think immediately, at least I do, you think immediately, oh my God, what did I do wrong? What are they going to tell me I did wrong this time? You start thinking, okay, what did I do? You start reflecting on the day, what you did, what you said, and then you get there and you're, offered a bonus, or you are, told how, how thankful they were that you did X, Y, and Z. And so I mentioned that that there are multiple perspectives on things that people say or that happen in your life. It's not just one way, but think about, wait a minute, what could be another way why I was called into the office? Accepting, again, what you cannot change, and really leaning into challenges rather than passively waiting for them to change. So I'm going to talk a little bit about two different types of personalities, optimists and pessimists. And really the way I'm trying to show you that there's a mindset, and the way you interpret things and then act accordingly or feel accordingly really affects your mood. So when I talk about optimists, you might think, oh, people in your lives who are saying, yeah, this is going to end soon. We're going to be great. Everyone, no one's going to get sick. Everybody needs a cheerleader in their life, but it lacks substance. So an optimist, really is somebody who's proactive. They'll lean into a challenge. They'll do the research. They'll seek help. They'll try to make change. They'll take action. They end up having more satisfying relationships. They perform better at work, better at sports. They're healthier. They live longer. They can live longer, and are just more future oriented. What can I do to change the situation? Whereas, and I think we all know one of each, pessimists are more withdrawn. They're more passive. They focus on the part of the problem that they cannot do anything about. They're more hopeless about the future. They feel sort of ineffectual. There's nothing that I can do to change anything. They have low energy. They have a thinking style that really gets in the way of problem solving. And they often think of the worst case scenario. Does everybody know one of each? I know I do. So again, it's a mind frame, and I'm going to teach you a little bit about attitude of gratitude. There's a whole study on it now. I think some of you may have heard of it. So again, instead of focusing on the threat, focus on what you are receiving. Instead of fight or flight, it's rest and digest. To kind of sit there mindfully and think about, what benefits or blessings are coming toward you, what goodness is around you, and not just once or every few days, but every single day. Keep a journal, write down 3 blessings every single night, good things that happened to you that day, and explore an explanation. So why did that happen? Why did this person call me? Wow, I really have a great relationship. Something. It's January and it's beautiful out. What a wonderful thing. And to really and think about what kind of change that makes in your life. If you think about every single day, if you write down every single day what you're grateful for, imagine how that slowly but surely begins to change your way of thinking and your mood. And of course, research studies have shown that there are positive long-term effects: less depressed, better sleep habits, better physical health, increase in happiness. Notice the good things in the world. It's called hunt the good stuff. You look around, there's definitely good stuff every single day. And just remember that, hunt the good stuff. It's very easy now in the world to think about, oh my God, Florida or England or California or, parts of Pennsylvania, all these, the numbers are going up. But you know what? Hunt the good stuff. My kids lived home with me for a while, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But you can all find something every single day. Just look for it. It's there. Just hunt the good stuff. And having a lens of gratitude leads to helping behaviors. You're paying it forward. You're helping somebody else express authentic thank yous. Research has shown that if you honestly and truthfully say thank you to your students, to your bosses, to colleagues, that people's performance increase. So send those letters of appreciation to everyone. And of course, altruism has been known to be a big contributor of increased happiness. So I want you to take a look at this. Whoops. So this leads to hope. I think that this really speaks volumes and shows that there are other ways, certainly other perspectives that one can have in right now in the world. So I'm going to leave you with that, but there are some resources if anybody wants. And I just want to let you know, I don't know if there are younger families or families with grandkids. So I can take some questions now, but I also have just a couple more things to talk about with the parents. So not sure what I should do. It's just a few more minutes. I can.
Sure. If you want, I can pause the recording.
Okay.
And okay, I'm going to do. It's on.
Okay. So here's a perfect saying by Mr. Rogers: look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. And so I love this so much. I've always used this because, there's a lot going on in the world and there are anxieties, and you just want to, focus on the frontline workers or focus on Dr. Fauci or the scientists. There's so many helpers right now. It's pretty easy to find helpers and to really, yes, this is going on, but look at all the people who are working. And he talks about community from his show, and I don't know if you know, you probably do, but his show was based on Squirrel Hill, Pittsburgh, which is where the shooting in the synagogue happened a little over 2 years ago. And what a community when you think about it. After the shootings, the whole community felt bereaved. People came out to help, lots of donations. Christian churches were offering, bereavement services. The Muslim temple was offering bereavement services. Just a wonderful, wonderful community. And again, to feel like it's not just you, in grief, everyone is grieving with them on some level. So now, yeah. So parenting during a pandemic, the news that's on all day, and I think this is good for, it's good for parents, but it's good for everybody. The bottom one first, do not keep the news on all day long, limit their exposure. Imagine what that's like all day, every day. I tell a lot of people that. So the news, rather than attempting the impossible task of shielding them from news, just assume that everybody knows something, from preschoolers to college kids, everyone knows something. And so you want to talk to them because you want to make sure that what they know is somewhat truthful. And so, they don't know what the coronavirus is. They may not know what a vaccine will mean, how long they have to stay at home, why they can't see Bubby and Zadie. So they do have a lot of questions, and it's always helpful to begin by asking them what they already know. Start with where they are and see what they know. And of course, different ages require different responses. But by broaching the subject first, you let the kids know that, parents are available and supportive. And again, it's not a one-time conversation. They continually process new information. And of course, right now, there's a lot of information every single day. So they're constantly processing new information, and there's going to be a need to ask more questions. It's important for parents to maintain their composure in order to impart a sense of reassurance. It's, of course, okay. It's perfectly okay to acknowledge your feelings with your children and let them know, that you're sad or worried. You want to model for them and validate for them what they feel, but you also don't want to say things like, I'm sure nobody here does, but just want to make sure people aren't saying, oh my God, did you see the news today? This is going on. And, in front of your kids, you want to, relax a little bit first, and then definitely talk to them, though. And above all, of course, reassure them that they're loved, they're available to them, and that you are doing all that you can do to keep them safe. It's really what you can do. Despite what your friends may be doing, or your kids' friends, what they may be doing, despite how long this is lasting, it's important to stand strong and keep your family's precautions going. The physical distancing, wearing a mask, avoiding indoor gatherings with a large number of people until that time. Stand strong, because I know that they know people who are probably not following it, and that's pretty hard. And of course, set a good example by sticking to these precautions yourself. You have a higher probability that they will do it. Encourage them to stay connected. It's hard for us, but it's also hard for them. Set up Zoom play dates. And try to stay connected to other parents for social support around safety guidelines. As I'm sure you all know, everybody is, has different beliefs for their family, whatever. But there are other people who feel the same way as you, and try to find them. My brother calls it frum versus orthodox versus conservative versus reformed. And we have been frum in this house. We've been, as my friends know, we have been doing pretty much everything, like 99%, 98%. Give your children space to voice their sadness and frustration. You certainly understand that. We all feel it ourselves. Don't think that it's a reflection of your parenting or your choices. Inspire empathy. Let them know that others may be having a hard time. I've heard stories of where kids will reach out to their friends, no one's answering them. And just know everyone's really reacting to this in a very, very, very different way. And to let your kids or grandkids know that, you don't know how they're doing, but just, send them texts or whatever, you're thinking about them, and that's that. Practice gratitude, send cards to nursing homes. I kind of like this, donate as a family. So, a lot of philanthropy, a lot of projects right now are on hold because of it, but you can choose $25 as a family. Talk about, okay, there's Ronald McDonald House, there's Trenton Homefront, there's synagogues. Lots of places are looking for donations, so we can either give toys, food, whatever, desks, backpacks, or let's take this $25 and discuss as a family, where should we put this money? Practice gratitude, and again, look toward the future. This is not the new normal. Discuss future plans, discuss play dates with friends, visits with relatives, including favorite museums, restaurants, or other outings. Imagine going to the beach for the day. You can even get dressed up for the beach. What would you bring? Talk about future plans. It's good for adults too. I know some adults hypothetically who are thinking about that as well. And so here's some more resources. And this is mostly the ones from before, but I've added a couple. The Optimistic Child, which is a great book. I love anything by Martin Seligman. And for everybody, mindfulness and relaxation apps. Insight Timer is great because it's completely free. You have thousands of choices. Calm and Headspace, there's free and non-free. And a really, really good sleep app is CBT I Coach. I is for insomnia, and it's perfectly free. So thank you very much for the privilege of allowing me to present to you tonight.
Thank you. This has been absolutely fantastic, and we'll take some more questions. But I just want to say thank you, and that this presentation is going to be recorded, and it will be on the website. So there was a ton of information in here. It'll all be available, so you'll be able to get to these resources. So maybe if we want to turn off the share, then we can see each other's faces.
Yes, that would be great. I realize it's so difficult to talk to. Oh.
It's really wonderful.
That's Lisa.
What was that?
Lisa's here too.
Oh, good. Hi, Lisa.
Yeah, Melissa. She said good job. Melissa.
Romper Room. Some of you remember Romper Room when you look through the video.
Yeah.
I see Francine. I see Eva. I see Brian and Lois. So I will be happy to take any other questions.
Great job by my wife.
I knew you were wrong. I knew you were wrong.
I had nothing to do with this.
That's true.
It would have been a mess or something.
Look, it's Jeff. Hi. Haven't seen you in a year.
Yeah, seriously.
I haven't gotten a haircut in a year. So.
There's proof.
That's right. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Outstanding. That was great.
Thank you. I'm
Very
open
helpful.
to, oh good, thank you very much. I'm open to questions or comments.
I took notes. I'm going to text them to my friends. So thank you.
That's
I just
great.
put little blurbs from your presentation. I was typing as you were speaking.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Wendy. That's great to
I
hear.
am taking your suggestions and putting them into action tomorrow. I'm calling.
Good, good.